Hello, everyone. Here we are on a Wednesday afternoon. We're here earlier than usual because our guest, Yossi Ronen, who is an experiencer and an author that we're going to have an hour or so discussion with, lives in Israel. He's very near the center of the country in near Tel Aviv. And he and I were discussing how I spent a fair amount of time in Israel back when I worked for the U.S. government. And that's about as far as we could go before both of us got in trouble. So in the 1980s, Yossi was in the United States. And while visiting in the United States, he had a life-changing experience with the phenomenon. And so it really dramatically changed his view of reality in the world, like it does so many of us. Just ask the two of us. And Yossi, you can all tell you, once you're in this stuff, your life is different from ever. It's like going through a door that locks behind you. And so Yossi eventually wrote a book called One. And we're going to let Yossi tell us his story in his own words and the way he wants to. And we'll try not to get in his way and interact when we have questions. Yossi, welcome.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you both for inviting me, Bob and beautiful Lala. It's really honor to invite me because I just saw your video with Grant Cameron, which I love very much. And
did you see the orb fly in front of us?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah. Every time we get on with Grant and some other people, orbs fly around us. And that one caught 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and I'm really connected to his approach because he's talking mainly about the consciousness thing, and you too. And for me, it's the main thing that is going on because I'm not going to talk about UFOs. I'm going to talk about the real face-to-face contact that I have with a couple of beings in my room. And it all was concentrated on the consciousness of us, my consciousness and there. And they did the communication only through the consciousness. And what they did is something that helped me very much to understand what's going on in our contact, because it's very complicated. Many of us that have connections and have appearances of aliens in the room suddenly, it's very hard for us to digest and understand what's going on. Part of the people are afraid, part of the people are talking about angels, and it's very, we have many questions for that. And what they did, they show me themselves in 2 of my different kind of consciousness, main consciousness. In the beginning, they show up to me when I was out of my body. It was the first time that it happened to me. I was after work with my brother. We went to rest after work, and I fall asleep, and suddenly I found myself out of my body for the first time. I saw my body sleeping on the bed, and I was high near the ceiling, like watching my body. And the situation is totally different from the situation that happened a couple of minutes after that, when I wake up from that sleep, sat on the bed and saw them in front of my eyes, face to face, when I was totally awake with my eyes open. And I had the chance to understand the difference of my consciousness in front of them. And it helped me very much first to hang on the face-to-face contact, because it's very frightening. It's something that our awake body is not used to feel and have the connection face to face like that. So what happened that in the beginning, when I saw myself out of my body, I could see them two near my bed. One of them, there were 4 or 5 of them in the room, and one of them was standing near my sleeping body, near my head, and concentrate on my head, like, and I see that. And my consciousness was, when I was out of my body, was very relaxed. It seems like I'm aware of what is going on. And first of all, the awareness of being out of body was much more natural than going back to my body like every day. It's like it was an opportunity to realize myself in the real self. And it was not through the body. My body was sleeping, my eyes were shut, but I could see everything in the room. Me that was out of the body didn't have any figure or body or hands, or I was looking for my hands, I couldn't see nothing. So I realized that I'm the real me now, that is. And the situation was very peaceful because I was like, know them in that situation. It was like I know them from many years ago, like childhood friends or family or something like that, like that I was always like I forgot, and now that I'm out of my body, I remember. Is that my real awareness, my deep awareness without the body, much more wiser and understand, see, feel, and is aware of much more space of awareness from through the body. And in that situation, we had the communication, but the communication was very cheerful and like friends that didn't see each other from long time, and we even laugh. There were 4 or 5. One was near my bed, and 4 in the room. Like they were like standing in the room, touching things, see things. They were very curious about to be in the body, and we had a good communication. And then I wake up, and in the first thinking that I had when I woke up was what a weird dream I had. I was still with my face to the wall. I didn't, and I thought, what a dream with green creatures walking in the room. One is what, and I'm laughing with them, and I know them. And I thought, what a crazy dream. It was 81. There were no pictures of aliens or the grays, no internet. I didn't know nothing about that. I didn't read books or nothing about this stuff. And I thought, what a weird dream. And then I heard a noise from behind of me in the room. So I turned around, sat in the bed, and to see who is walking there. And suddenly I saw them, the same creatures that I saw when I was out of my body.
Oh, wow.
The first reaction that I was froze from fear. I was like really fear of death. I never felt fear in my life like that. It was a mix of maybe I lost my mind, maybe, or I'm still dreaming, and I thought I'd wake up, that it's bad thing for itself, to think that you are awake but you are still sleeping, or that it's real and they are there, these creatures, and it's very frightened because that they are not human, and you feel their immense awareness from their eyes. They had a big black eyes, very shiny. And the one that was standing near my bed was half a meter from me now, very close. looking at me with his eyes, and I was frozen from fear. I didn't know what to do. My fortune was, because of the first experience a minute ago that I was out of my body and we had a good connection, gave me an opportunity to think maybe the fear is only mine and maybe this is a real thing. And they are my friends, or I know them, and they are okay, like it was from the situation that I was before. And as I relaxed my fear, only to try if it's okay, I started to relax. And one of the fears that I had from looking at them through the body was that I was aware of their immense awareness, and it was so strong that I thought that they are controlling me, because it seems like I hear them in my head, and like they can go through my consciousness and feel what I feel and know what I'm thinking. And that was very frightened. But when I started to relax myself, I realized that I know that they know my awareness because I know their awareness too. And it's a mutual connection. And that's, I think, is the real meaning of telepathy. And when I heard the telepathy tapes, I heard the first time the realization of what is really going on there. It seems that the telepathy is like the awareness of us is aware of a part that was in the dark when you are wake up. Like there is a field inside of us that is connected to the oneness or something like that. That's why I call the book one. And that awareness is aware when the body doesn't bother him, because the body wants to know everything through the brain and through the eyes. But when the brain or the body is shut down, you have the opportunity to be aware, not from your body. And then you are connected to everything because your real awareness is connected all the time. And it seems like every one of us is connected, in that deep part of us is connected to the one. And those aliens, I call them the visitors, are connected too. And the telepathy is like joining the field, the one field that we can now be one with each other in that awareness. And that was this is the realization of telepathy. And then that was the opportunity to really have the experience of their consciousness, because they gave me the opportunity not to be aware of a different consciousness, and they were totally different from us. I mean, we can communicate, our consciousness can communicate, but the way of their consciousness is different from us. It seems that they are aware of the oneness all the time in a very natural way. And because of that, they are like the telepathy from to each other are very natural to them. They don't have to speak. And they don't have to send idea like we think about telepathy, that we send information and receive information. They don't have to do that. They are just aware of each other. And because of that, they were very, very calm in their personality. Because with each other, they didn't have to, they don't hide anything. They cannot hide. They don't want to hide nothing. So the connection was in a very real truth, awareness to each other. And this is very peaceful. imagine yourself. For us, it's frightened because we are afraid that someone go inside our head and hear our thoughts and this kind of stuff. But when it's natural and it's your nature, it's very nice and very loving communication because you are totally open. And another thing that I felt that they don't have any ego.
Yeah.
They were like, for us, an innocent children, but wise, much, much wiser than me. They were much more than me, but they were much more innocent from me. And that was amazing because they were so open with their consciousness that they were innocent because this is the real reality that they see, that is everything is connected. And when everything is connected, there is no threat from one
She,
side.
she regularly comments that when she interacts with the non-human intelligences, she doesn't feel like they have heavy emotions, whereas humans have heavy emotions. And that's consistent with your description. Let me tell you my 5-second story. So after we got together, I began to explore consciousness. And so I thought a thing that I might find interesting was see if I could develop sight through a blindfold because of Grant Cameron and others. So I started wearing a blindfold a bit. And after a year, I began waking up, not realizing I had the blindfold on, and seeing everything in the room, including the other things that were in the room with me. So then I had finally had a more profound experience where I woke up, I was seeing the entire room. I felt a little weird, a little shaky, a little weird. And that's when I turned around and looked and saw that my body was lying on the bed. And that's when I recalled how many hundreds of times when I was growing up, I would feel like I was falling back into my body without realizing what had happened because it was identical. I dove back into my body, scared to death, because I didn't know what these things were in my room, and I dove into the body, and now I'm better prepared. And so I'm looking forward to the next time, but I'm going to tell you what, I don't mind admitting, scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. And you, Lala, you had the communication. Can
Ever
you
since
tell me some?
it started when I was really little, and you know, a lot of times they were there to guide me and protect me. And one time they said very peacefully, "Be careful what you wish for it may come true." I was mad at my dad, and I said something stupid, and I was like, "I take it back." So they've always been there to guide me, and they've always been innocent and peaceful, level-headed. And it, sometimes it is where I'm thinking, oh my God, do they know exactly what I'm thinking? Do I have any private time? But it was never scary at all. Hearing them, it was never scary.
Amazing. You're probably much more open than the usual, because for me, the minute that I was looking at them, when I totally awake with my eyes open, in the beginning, it's like the body have an instinct to be afraid from something that you are not familiar with. It was not from my soul, it was from the body. The
Right.
body was frozen. The body have a threat without my consciousness. It's something that bother, I think, many of us that have the first contact. They are totally afraid.
Yeah.
And because of the fear, the ordinary consciousness, when he go back to the natural life, trying to understand what happened there, and the left brain, the body brain, started to translate what he saw there. And if what he saw there was with an emotion of fear, he can visualize something frightened like a monster or like a
Right.
and they stick with that vision of something that is a very frightening. But many of them, like Whiteley Strieber, in the time he realized that he was the part of the reason for the bad communication, and it was not from them, it was from his starting to realize what's going on and
Getting in our own way. Yeah, exactly.
how his consciousness is working with that situation.
Right. But one other thing, I don't know why, but now I know it happens to a lot of people. They've always made me feel, I guess I should say, I'm normally an anxious, shy person. And whenever they come around, I feel very sedated, almost like I'm on a Xanax or a medication. So maybe that's why I never felt true fear. But I heard other people say that they get this calming effect over them too. So I don't know what that is, but that's just probably why I didn't freak out.
When you see them, you're totally awake.
I usually hear them. Only a few times I've seen them. Very rare. But I was just numb pretty much.
Can I tell you? I believe this is me having been with her for a while. I believe that she doesn't want to see them.
Yeah, I know.
Because it would frighten her.
Yeah, I know.
And so that's the reason she doesn't see them.
Yeah, it's a very important thing, because I felt that they don't want to penetrate my free choice or free willing, and they are always very gentle with me.
Right.
In that situation, that if they see that something wrong is happened to me because of the contact, they go away. They are very, very respect our own choice to see or not to see, and even to feel what we feel. They don't go inside and try to calm you or try to to influence you in a way. They really have a think that it's very important for us to develop our consciousness with them, with our own free willing, because what I think that we learn from that very much as a humanity, because each one of us that have communication is not alone. I mean, our real consciousness is separate, and we feel separate, but our deep consciousness is connected to each other. And if each one of us have this connection to the deep awareness of himself, he's like make it easier for the others too. And we are all now in that situation, I think, because we can see that we are start to understand what's going on. The telepathy tapes is something that started to show itself like almost in a scientific, proven, material way that never before was. It was like always like a something that you treat like a maybe imagination or who stuff, and something that it's not connected to our real own nature.
Right.
And we are started to learn that, and that the difficulties is our lessons. Really, it's our it's a benefit for us to struggle, because this struggle really make us go inside and do that, and open our gate from the two sides of our consciousness and get wiser from that.
Yep.
and I think that they are waiting for that, and they don't want to push themselves now because they are waiting for us to, like, together to understand what's going on and to be open and to in advance to have good attentions or thoughts or stories that give them the opportunity to be open in the good way and not in a bad way.
Right.
Because
We can attest to the free will part. So we were regularly going outside and observing all the weird in our sky that all of our neighbors and everyone around us was ignoring. And so we would go out there and take pictures and videos and have craft fly by and put them on Facebook, and everybody would ignore them. So we just kept doing it because we were having fun. We weren't frightened. So we were out there, and the atmosphere changed. And she said, "Oh, give me the camera." And she took a picture of the yard, not the sky, the yard. And that's because a 6-foot tall blue being had walked up on us.
well,
Blue. The person changed the food.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it was a gray. It was a gray. I'm sorry. It was a gray. If you put a blue filter on it, it showed the face much more clearly. That was the deal. But anyway, it was a gray, and it talked to her telepathically and said, "You know, we need you guys to help with something, but we want you to think it through, and you have to give us permission and your commitment, because this has to be a free will decision." It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So we thought a few days and said, "Yeah, okay."
At least get our ego.
Well, they also lectured us about getting in our way.
It was quicker than that.
It was. We got lectured on giving up ego and stop butting heads and work together, and it was a comeuppance.
I think that's what they want from everyone. It wasn't personal.
No.
We all get in our own ways. So, you know.
Yeah, for me it was. I think so, the same. I don't think it was personal, this contact. It was, but it was not.
Right.
I mean, I always, in the situation when they communicate to me, it was like they are connecting to a human, not specifically to me, and you know, the ego. It seems like the ego is something that darken the communication, because the ego is connected to the body very much. Mm-hmm. And when you want to be connected to them, you have to go a little bit out of the body, a little bit not from the, and that's why you have to go out of your body, your ego a little bit, and be more peaceful and more like in a meditation situation, more quiet, and then the ego go down, because you don't think about yourself. You're good, you're not good, you are bad, and this kind of stuff, and you can be open and just have the experience, because the experience is not something rational. It's something that you experience. After that, you can give it words, and give it thoughts, and give it a color, and give it a shape. And you know, it's a very good example from people that see the same UFO, but describe it a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Because it's the connection to our deeper inside of us, and each one with his own personality translate it a little bit different, in a little bit a different color, a different look, or a different emotions, because it's really our translation that now I think we start to understand how we do that. And if we understand the way we translate it, we can really understand ourselves and our potential that is hidden from us now. And all what you say about, you know, this ability to see without the eyes, and to see all this um, abilities are all connected to that. Because if you see like what happened in a different country only from your inner consciousness, it's because you can be connected to the oneness that everybody and everything is connected, and you can like travel, and you see that. And the telepathy working like that too, because your mind is on the oneness and see that. And many people say that Whitley Strieber especially say that it's really connected to out of body experiences, and it's related to the awareness that is like almost dead. And like you say, it's connected to the dead people, like the aliens is connected to the dead people. It's because when we die, we simply there. I mean, our own self stays, the body goes, but we are now connected to everything. Is that to that oneness, and all people that die, all the creatures, all the aliens, all the spiritual beings that are connected to that oneness, you see them. And I think the differences of the stories that people say when they come back from the death experience, and one of them say, I saw angels, others say, I saw my grandmother, others say, I saw Jesus. All of them, when they come back and awake, have to translate their free of body awareness, and that awareness is oneness. I mean, he see Jesus and he see his grandmother. It's like all of that things are one there. But when he wake up, he have to translate the emotion of love that he felt to something that was so strong in his life. And in his life, his grandmother was the real essence of love that he ever felt. So he said it was my grandmother, or the others say it was Jesus. And we get confused from the different stories. But if we understand what is going on in that oneness and how we translate it, we can understand many things. And I think this is the reason of that the psionics now, the stories of the psionics, their abilities are exactly that. They can go out of their real body, ego, consciousness and be open, and then they meet them and can communicate with them. And same as the telepathy tapes, when they talk about the heal, that they go join and communicate to each other in the same place.
I was gonna thank you for bringing that up, because from childhood, like 3 years old, most of the way through my life, there would be these times when I would, quote, get instruction while I was not really awake. So I'm now saying that I'm not certain it's the same hill they go to, but the effects are the same. I woke up at 3 years old and I could read like an adult.
Amazing.
At 10 years old, I was doing science and engineering like I had graduated from college. And then when I was 19, I drove home from the university with my girlfriend, and both of us remember an hour and a half of missing time. And when that was over and done with and it all calmed down, I changed everything about my life. I changed schools, I changed majors, I became the technical person that I am now. And so I believe with all my heart in the hill.
Yes, you are a proof of that, because I think when you really go to that place of oneness, everything is there. All the literature, all the ideas, all the truth, all the knowledge. And when you have the ability to go there and remember when you wake up, This is the thing that give you the edge. You remember what you saw there, and then you
Yes.
can use it, and you can, and it's a proof of that richness that there is in that oneness. That you go and take whatever you need.
So our friend Og from the UK says, why do you think they show themselves to some and not others?
I think it's related to the free choice and their awareness of that. I think that first of all, they can. What I saw and what I believe that there are spiritual beings that can be physical if they want.
Mhm.
They do it in their free will. What we are like just now start to understand that we have a soul that is eternal and we have a body, and we do it too. We are a spirit being that go to a physical body now and live with a body, and they can do it freely, go out in and out. And when they communicate with us, it's not that they come here. They are there all the time, but we don't see them because it's like a different dimension. It's like when in our usual day by day awareness, we don't see the spirits or different dimensions, but it is here. It's not a different place. And the people that can see them, I think people that inside of them, it's not an aware thing mostly. I think it's an awareness decision to do that. It's something very deep inside that have a decision to do something in his life in that years that he's here, and this is part of it probably. This is one thing. The other thing is that it happened, suddenly when someone get a bang in his head, an accident or something like that, and the brain get weaker or different, it get changed. And because of that change, he is now like open to different kind of awareness because the ego is shut down. The left brain is now damaged. The right brain is now open, and the right brain is connected to that richness of the oneness. And I think this is the reason why some can have it and not, and some cannot.
Yeah, he said at school I was told to accept the soul of Jesus. It starts young. Breaking out conditioning is crucial, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. Because we all like labeling. I think that's what.
Can
And
you
it's
explain me? Can you explain me what he says? What?
Yeah, sure. So Real Reels says that they went to a parochial school. And so they were told they had to accept the soul of Jesus. And so Real Reels is claiming that this was indoctrination from a very young age, and that they are of the opinion that breaking conditioning is crucial to a wider acceptance of a larger reality. And both the two of us have been through that. So I'll tell you the single most startling event that happened to the two of us. Well, so while she's out of here, I can embarrass her. Okay, so it was not the fact that she read my mother and I knew my mother was still alive on the other side because of the things she said. It was the following. I asked her to consider the personality of a scientist who had passed away.
You asked Lala?
Yes, I asked Lala to consider it. So she began doing it, and her consciousness bilocated. One part of her consciousness was in the astral. I'll tell you why I know that in a minute. The other part of her consciousness was here communicating with me.
Wow.
So but her perceptions were not local. Her perceptions were that she had penetrated the veil and had gone outside and met the universal consciousness and felt she was wrapped in this unbelievable, totally consuming, unconditional love.
Yeah.
And then when she decided, or it sent her back, or she decided to come back, she felt all giddy and went over to the pyramids and went underneath. And that's when you find out that this is both psychical, psychological, and physical. Because she says, ooh, there are these beings here. They're tall and they're really upset with me for being down here. And I went, okay. She says, and they keep saying something. I never heard this word before. And believe you me, before I started telling her all about all this weird stuff, she didn't know any of this. So she says, they're saying something like Anunnaki. Anunnaki? She said, yeah, Anunnaki. And right about then, they said, it's time for you to go home. And they literally smacked her, knocked her flat on her bed, and pinned her down and told her, don't come back.
Wow.
You go, ooh, that was not what I was expecting. And this stuff has consequences, and one must be careful.
Yeah. Because of that, because in our natural day by day, it's not healthy for us to be exposed to that non-local consciousness, because we get confused from that, because our normal life that is concentrated on survival have to be in local consciousness. So it's good to be connected, but it's good to be connected with very much a slow pace of realizing the way to be connected without damaging one side of you, the real day by day one.
I'm not telling people don't do stuff. You're not telling people don't do stuff. You're telling people, as I'm telling them, and Lala tells them, you better go into this with a completely clear mind. Don't go in drunk or on drugs.
Yeah.
Don't do anything that alters your perceptions, because you want to be in control of your emotions and other things. Otherwise, things are going to go very badly.
Yep. Yep.
Or could go very badly. Not always, but they could go very badly. Like she got curious and got slapped around by Anunnaki underneath the pyramids.
Yes, it's it's like I know that there are situations that when people get on special drugs like psychedelic and this kind of stuff, it like change your perception, but not in a natural way, and you're suddenly open to something that you are not used to have like awareness of. And if you are not ready, you get confused and you like translate it in a very bad way, and you get afraid, and it can damage you, because you touch something that it's too hot and too like it's a fire for you when you are not ready to that.
Okay, let's not run out of time, because I want you to tell people about your book, because I want them to go read it.
Yeah. Okay. The book called One Face-to-Face Contact, Experiencing ET Consciousness and Human Consciousness Evolution. If you write One Face-to-Face Contact, you can see that it's on Amazon. The book was written after 40 years of my search, first with my own experience and then with others that I met and looked for that had similar experiences like me. And in the book, the first chapter only is the contact itself. And all the rest of the book is the realization of what is going on, their consciousness, how it connected to our psychology, how it connected to our, the layers of our consciousness, how it is related, and even science and chapter about how the quantum science is talking very similar to that situation of consciousness, because the realization of what is going on there is that our consciousness influence the real small bit of matter, and then because this is the main layer of our reality, at last we can change our reality by our consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And the understanding of the oneness, and even I talk about religion and God because when I was connected to them, I was connected to that love, that immense wide love of things that were connected to each other, and they were aware of it in a very natural way. It took me some years to understand that this experience is the experience of God, that the religion is trying to express or trying to tell us. But it seems that now it's so, I don't know, it's so different that it took me time to understand that religion is talking about that, about what I experienced with them. And it can be, and from that day on, I believe in God totally. I mean, but the word God that I say probably is not the same meaning of God that many religious people think of God.
Yeah.
And I think that this is one of the reasons that religion people don't have to be afraid that we will communicate with them, because it's only will strong the communication of our spirit and connecting to God. And it's okay. It will probably widen and open the belief and not ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm adherent to universal consciousness, and I quote pray to it a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whatever it is, I realize it's aware.
Yeah, and I think the visitor are aware too, and and one of their purposes is to connect us to the real truth that is going on, and this is part of it. And this is why we feel so connected to them when we are open and we are not afraid. We feel that they are like our family and friends, and they love us, because when we open to that realm, we are all connected, and uh, we feel love to each other because it's there all the time.
I agree, 100%. I would tell when I first met him, because I don't know if you know, but a couple of years ago I lost my parents and my son's father and my friend. Right after the other, and I swear, more activities started to happen, and I just felt like they were friends and family trying to help me get through grieving. So I always call them friends or family, So that's interesting that you said that. You're the first person I think I've heard explain it that like that. So that's nice. They do feel like family.
Well, we had one experience which let us know that we had family here. So
Yeah.
we started having things go bump in the night or whatever in the house. So I put up a camera, and it was testing the camera before I put it in its permanent location. I had it in the front hallway, and we had gone to bed. Everybody was asleep. The light was off. The camera was in night mode. All of a sudden, you hear walking. You hear the light switch go on. You see something fuzzy walk in front of the camera, and you hear this bass voice go, "Hello, Xander," completely voiced.
Wow.
And look, I mean, she can tell you who it was.
My son's name is Xander, and that was his father talking, Dave. So it was nice. That was the first time that we were together 15 years, and he passed from cancer, but that was the first time he ever showed up like that. And so, yeah, that spirit family does come, but I mean, like the star people or whatever, I feel like they're family and helpful and want like to heal you and stuff. But
My mom's around all the time. Every now and again, if I need her most, I smell her perfume.
Yes, yes. Because they
I
are
know
under,
she's here.
yes, you know, when you go out of your body, you are now in the non-local. And the non-local is everywhere.
oh, yeah.
Everywhere, even our local. It's only a matter of our consciousness to be aware of that or not.
Well, scientifically, don't they say our eyes only pick up so much? So there's lots of stuff around us. We just can't physically see it.
Well, if my fingernail is what we see with the spectrum, the whole room is the part of the spectrum we can't see. Yeah,
Yes, exactly. Exactly, it's exactly like that. And all of our brain is like that, is filtering only what it needs to survive.
Right.
All the other things that can be important for us to grow up, it's only our choice to be, you know, develop it and be open to that. And yeah, that's
So, what ongoing experiences are you having now?
well, now I'm totally concentrate on the second book.
Aha!
Because in the first book, I was, you know, it took me many years to have the courage to get it out.
Yeah.
The courage and the belief in myself that I write the right thing, because I wanted to be confident that I will not mislead people, because I knew how much it's important. And because I had a good experience, I wanted to deliver it in the good way, and not with my, you know, imagination, that I check my realization time and time again. So I released the book, and from the first book, I had a very good reactions from people that say, you know, this is the first time that I understand my experience because what I read. And this is exactly what was a sign for me that I did realize what's going on. So in the second book, I go wild. I go all the way. Most of the things that I was not have the courage to be open because it was maybe too deep or too high or too complicated. And this is going to be in the second book.
Okay. Well, our teenagers come home, and the dog's gonna bark like crazy. So we're gonna go take care of them. I've got to go to the doctor. I don't know whether you saw whether or not I had a medical emergency here recently, but anyway, I have a doctor's appointment, and I need to leave in a minute. So we're only cutting you off 1 minute early, and next time you can stay half an hour late because this was fantastic.
I'm sorry.
It was amazing.
My son came home. I call him my baby, but he's taller than me now.
He's 6'2".
Well, you both are amazing couple, and it was very great.
Please come back, Yossi, because
You're very peaceful. Yeah.
we have not had enough interaction. You have depth that other people need to be exposed to,
And good energy.
and very good
Very
energy.
honest.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I think that you resonate with your energy, and you are amazing. I will be happy to come once more and talk.
Yeah, good. We are going to look forward to it. But thank you everyone for being here. And please don't forget that tonight at 7 p.m., Big Homie is going to be on with Orbis Paranormal.
And buy his book.
Yeah, and buy Yossi's book. Buy the book one and look for the other book, which is coming. Yossi, I'm anxious. So I can't wait to see the new one. Hurry up. And everybody, tune in tonight to see a Big Homie. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Bye-bye.